Well, good day, everyone. It is last day of November, I think. Saturday, November the 30th. Tomorrow will be the first day of December. We had sunshine this morning for the first time in a long time. It's beautiful. Went out for a short walk in the trails behind the house. It's clouded over, but that's okay. It's still all right. It's dry. It's a nice day to get out. And I just picked up some new hiking shoes this morning when we were in Wolfville. We went to the farm market and I went for a coffee and then stopped by what I always call Brian's store in Wolfville. I've been kind of thinking about new hiking shoes for a while now, as mine are getting worn. So got them on my feet. They feel great. Another pair of Solomon's. And I've always gone for the, what are they called? The I don't know. I can't keep all the letters straight. XA Pro 3D Ultra blah blah blah. How about that for a name? Gore-Tex. And these are Solomon's, but they are a new line, if I understood Jen correctly. And these are the Alpines. Gore-Tex. I really like the look of them. Really like the feel of them. I went a half size larger this time. Because if you do walk a lot in shoes, like if you're walking for 3 or 4 hours, your feet do swell. And you need to account for that. And I've done a fairly good job of that in the past. And these are 12 and a half. And I don't think I've gotten 12 and a half for hiking shoes before. I have with boots. These ones just felt right and they don't feel clunky or large at all. And they don't look large on my feet. Out walking the big Lucy Loop here right now. We'll head into the pond here in a few minutes. She's, of course, up ahead exploring and wandering around. And I haven't posted anything for a long time, so I thought I'd give a bit of an update. And a little bit of reflection on life and what I've been up to and really what I'm doing with my life, kind of on a day-to-day basis as well. So I think sometimes people wonder and they look at you and say, well, what are you doing with your time all the time? And you hear that line when people retire that they don't know how they ever had time enough to work. Well, there is some truth in that. I can tell you that. Even though I don't have a particular thing each day, I seem to find things to do. And the other day in my journal, which is something I've been doing now too, journaling, which I really enjoy, I just made a list of things that I do on a regular or semi-regular basis, and it was quite long. So perhaps I'll go through and give you some highlights. Before I do, just catch my breath here for a second. After a little hill back there, which is all sand, and I'm out of shape. December 2nd is coming up. That's just 2 days away. Yeah, December 2nd can be a tough day in my life and for my family. It was 2 years ago when Lori passed on December 2nd. And so I think back to 2 years ago and what I was doing, of course, and once again taking her to the hospital. And little did I know, because I think it was just 2 days before she passed that I took her to the hospital. Little did I know that she wouldn't be coming home. And little did I know that we'd only have 2 days left. I remember being in there and she had some day surgery to get done, but she had some pain, of course. And if Lori says she has pain, then it's probably excruciating because she has the highest pain threshold of anybody I've ever known. And then one of the doctors said, I don't think she's going to be going home. So, and we thought we might have a week. Well, it turns out we had a lot less than that. Thankfully, we were able to get her to the hospice, which is an incredible organization, the Valley Hospice. If you ever get a chance to support them at all, I would really encourage you to do so. So it was quite a whirlwind of a few days, and of course months after. And if it was 2 years ago and I was looking ahead to where I am now, I would be shocked to know where I am now. However, I'm very, very happy, very content with my life right now. And I know that Lori would be happy for me too. She'd be happy with who I'm with and where I am. I remember she said at the time, she said, with tears in her eyes, and she's not one that shows emotion at all. She said that she was so worried about me. I remember saying with a smile on my face, I'm going to be okay. I said, I'll be all right. I'll find my way. And I have. And I had to. Yeah, I had to. And it's been good, as I said. Then you look back, as I guess probably a lot of people do at this stage in life when you're in your mid-50s and you have time to reflect a little bit and you think back, well, what the hell was that all about? Whether it's something traumatic like what I've gone through or whether it's just life in general. And, the whole purpose thing, and have I lived my life the way I was supposed to? And I think I have. I always saw it as, I don't want to say duty's the word, but maybe it is. But I saw as part of what my purpose was to be there for Lori at all times. Good times and bad, sickness and health. And I know she did the same with me. And I really think too that ultimately perhaps our purpose was to raise two emotional, raise two beautiful kids, beautiful, brilliant, caring, kind, thoughtful children who've become beautiful, brilliant, caring, kind, and thoughtful adults. So I think we have succeeded. And now we find our own purpose and way in life. Lucy's down there having great fun. It's gorgeous here at the pond today, eh? Check that out. Beautiful. Okay, back again. Come on, Luce. Moving on from the pond, going around the asparagus field here now. That's what it looks like in November. Not so green. So the kids are doing well, I think, and I'm really proud of where they are. As in the mid-20s, they're figuring adulthood out and lives and so on, and the stresses that go along with that. Unfortunately, adulthood and stress kind of goes together, I found, from when I was in that stage of life, mid-20s on. So a little update on what I've been up to and what I do with my time. Sorry, I'm just taking my gloves off here. I just got back a little over a week ago from a trip. I've always wanted to travel. I guess that's the geographer in me, and I love learning about the land and cultures. So the physical aspects and the cultural aspect, thinking like a geographer, the historical aspects, the architecture, the stories that different lands have to tell. And I've always been drawn to Europe especially. And I guess that's perhaps has to do with my background. But the history there has always been fascinating. So Suzanne and I were gone for 2 weeks. We flew into Vienna, Austria, and spent 2 nights there. Then we had an overland day excursion to Budapest, Hungary, spectacular city. I would love to spend more time in Budapest. I hear great things about it. And then we started a river cruise on the Danube. And we went downriver for a week with AMA Waterways. I would highly recommend AMA Waterways. They treat you like royalty the entire time. You never have to worry about a thing. So Hungary, Croatia, Serbia, Bulgaria, and we finished in Romania and disembarked in Romania. Then we had 4 nights on land in Romania, 2 nights in the city of Brasov, kind of in northern Romania, about a 4-hour drive from Giurgiu, which was the port town that we disembarked from. And then 2 nights in Bucharest before we flew back home. Romania was stunning. Transylvania was a highlight for sure. Beautiful countryside. So been traveling. I've never had the time or the financial ability to travel until now in my life. And knowing that we don't know literally what tomorrow will bring, I've been trying to take advantage of that. You probably know that we also did a trip for 2 weeks in Iceland back in the spring. And previous to that, in the spring of 2023, so about 6 months or so after Laurie had passed, I went by myself to London and spent 10 days there. I think it was 10 days with Laurie's brother and sister-in-law. And then also that summer, Suzanne and I went for 5 days to the west coast of Newfoundland. And last December, we spent 5 days in Boston. What a great city Boston is. So that's what I've been wanting to do all my life, is travel and experience other cultures in other parts of the world. And hope to do that going forward too. I've got quite a list of places. I was talking about a couple of spots in particular just this morning with Suzanne, and then with another friend of mine who's a world traveler, has been to lots of places. So continuing to do some of that. But those are special things, and I know that. But on a day-to-day basis, what's my world like? Well, I seem to be able to fill it in okay. I'm substitute teaching just like a couple days a week when it fits in the schedule and I have nothing else going on. I'll go sub, and I just at the high school, 5 minutes away. Like this past week, actually, it was only 1 day. There, I could have done at least 3 days, maybe probably 4, because there's a sub shortage everywhere. But I subbed on Wednesday for Paul. It was not Wednesday, sorry, Monday for Paul. I had some other things going on this week, so wasn't able to help them out. This coming week, I know I got Friday booked. I'll be in for Jen. And maybe I can pick up another day or so in there too. So that. And I volunteer at the food bank on Wednesday mornings here in Canning. That's been terrific. Been doing that for well over a year and a half now, I guess. Really good folks there. I enjoy the company and the support that the food bank is given to others. Clearly very important. Ultimately, we wish that we weren't there, and we hope for quiet days, because that's how I look at it as a good thing. And it's kind of a sad part of our society that food banks are a necessary part of our world and growing. Other things that I do on a volunteer basis, I've tried out 1 or 2 things. They weren't really working out for me. I've been asked to help or volunteer with 1 or 2 things, and they weren't really for me. I'm trying to be really particular and careful about how I use my time, and I think that works out best for me. Because like I've said before, it's kind of me putting myself first, and I want to say my own mental health, and for my own mental health and what works for me. But I have agreed to sit on the school advisory council as a community member. First meeting I was away a couple of weeks ago. There's only 4 meetings a year, I know the community and the people intimately, so perhaps I can be of some help there and support. And I've just recently agreed to let my name stand and have been elected, is that the word? Onto the board of directors for the Blominen Naturalist Society. I've always admired the work they do. I don't get to every meeting, which are monthly, except for the summer in Wolfville. But I get to them when I can and take in some of the workshops and field trips. And again, maybe with my administrative and organizational experience, I can help out some in the background with that. I'm a monthly donor for Nova Scotia Nature Trust, a terrific provincial nonprofit organization which works tirelessly to secure land and protect land. What else? Well, you may or may not be aware of my hobby, and everybody should have a hobby. Maybe I'll talk about that someday. But my stamp collecting has really been a highlight for me the last few years. And I'd stepped away from club activity and so on just because of things in life. And I'm starting to get a little more involved with that again. And more involved in the philatelic community, as stamp collectors are called. Again, wonderful people. Now, I've always found stamp collecting very therapeutic and good for my own mental health. You can retreat into a different world. And it's obviously very educational if you like learning. If you like organizing, things that all appeal to me. Clearly I walk a lot, but I walk, I would say, differently than I used to. Not that anything I did was ever very extreme, but I don't find myself as interested in backpacking, which I did for a number of years, or even going off trail and bushwhacking as much as I used to. I still do that some. And I've walked in a lot of places. I certainly know this area of the province very well. And right down through the valley and other parts of the province, I feel like I know pretty well too, but I always enjoy walking and wandering. I read, always got some books on the go. Historical fiction, I'm reading a historical fiction book right now called Winter by Len Dayton. Takes place from 1890s right up through to World War II and follows two brothers in Germany. So yeah, I'll read historical fiction. I'll read mystery, crime, not sure what you call that genre. I love Louise Penny and her series that takes place in a fictional town in southern townships of Quebec. And I love Anne Cleves. If you've ever watched the Shetland series on, it's on Netflix, I think. Brilliant. Well, the books are just as good. And she has a few different series on the go. So anything by Anne Cleves I really enjoy. Peter May is another one. Start with Black House if you're ever going to read Peter May. It takes place in the Hebrides. Sometimes I'll read a biography. I'll read some nonfiction. A lot of it's historical nonfiction. As Claire would say, dad books. I get a chuckle out of that. Coming into the season now, I started a jigsaw puzzle at home. It's puzzle season. My family's always been a family that have enjoyed puzzles, especially, of course, in the winter months. So I've got one set up in the casual room at home. I enjoy the birds. I feed the birds every morning, check on them. Right now it's still predominantly blue jays and chickadees. Although the juncos are coming back, I notice now. That's good. The finches have disappeared completely. Not seen a whole lot of the cardinals, though I did see a cardinal just a couple of days ago. Oh, it's always interesting for me to see the cycles that the birds go through seasonally. Because like late spring, early summer, midsummer, blue jays disappeared. Never saw blue jays, but they're back, which makes sense coming into winter season. And throughout the summer is mainly the finches, which I said I haven't seen lately at all. Those are a few things, at least. Continuing on, I'm just doing with my camera here, with my phone, and it's on a small tripod. Hopefully it's working okay. I mentioned journaling. I started journaling last spring using what's called the 6-minute diary, which has been really nice. I'm on my second one of those. Going forward, I might change it up a little bit and just use something with a little less structure. Journaling, I know lots of people that do it, and there's a whole online world around journaling. I've been enjoying it. I'd like to spend a little more time on that aspect of it, whether it's just day-to-day notes, or whether it's something a little larger, like on the travels and so on. So, another thing I spend my time on. And I enjoy just chatting with people, talking to people as I see them on the street or in the coffee house and canning or coffee shop. The social aspect. So if you want to go for a coffee, I've said this before, just let me know. The cottage renos, that's been an ongoing project as well, though there's some good progress made this past week, which I'm really excited about. And it makes me feel like there is a light at the end of the tunnel. It's been well over a year. It's been 14 months now or so, I think, since the renovations had started. And I think, fingers crossed, I'll have a working cottage by this spring with running water, hot shower, flush toilet. And it'll be wonderful to be able to use that on a more regular basis. I'm a little mucky here, so just watch my step. My nice new shoes. And then, of course, there's family. Family's always been very important to me, and it's always been important to my family. I know that. Although I don't see my brother and sister every day, I know I can count on them every day. My brother lives in Halifax, and my sister's just less than 15 minutes from here. Actually, we stopped in for a little visit at Heather and Kevin's this morning on our way to the market. So we're very close. And families that aren't close have always been a bit of a mystery to me. I don't understand that. So we may have not had a lot growing up when I was younger, but I know that we were rich in terms of love and caring from our parents and from our siblings and the greater family beyond that, cousins, aunts, uncles. Oh, family's still important. And my mom is just 15 minutes away, and she's not young. So we worry about her, we check on her, try to do what we can for her, to make her life a little bit easier, a little more enjoyable. And perhaps this coming week, Heather and John and I will take her down to the cemetery to see Dad. Why do I always get emotional when I mention Dad? It's been a lot of years. Yeah, so it'll be nice to go down there and take her, spend some quality time with people that I love. So that was a very quick rundown, but gives you kind of a sense of how I use my time, perhaps, and how it gets filled in pretty quickly. I have yet to be bored in retirement. I said earlier in this clip, I said maybe I'll talk more about hobbies someday. Perhaps I will, because mine's really important to me. And I think everybody should have a hobby of some sort. Suzanne, it's her horses, and passions are horses. Oddly enough, it was for, of course, Lori as well. But maybe think about what yours is. How do you like to spend your time? What's rewarding for you? What brings you joy? And hopefully I can post again before too long, not as long as this one has been. I apologize. This one again has been a ramble. I don't script these things. And you take good care. And we'll chat soon.